Have you ever done this? It's late at night, maybe the kids are finally asleep, the house is quiet, and you're just scrolling. You're searching for a way to build something that's really, truly yours. If you have ever typed something like this into your phone, well, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to dive into this because that feeling of not knowing where to start, that is the single biggest thing that stops so many amazing people. And today, we're not just going to talk about it. We're going to give you a clear, visible path, step by step. This right here, this is the real beginning. It's not some formal business plan or a bank application. It's just this quiet, private thought. And it's usually followed by this wave of overwhelm, right? You're picturing this future, but you can't quite see how to get there. But I need you to hear this. Every single person who has a thriving studio of their own started with this exact same sentence. This is the universal first step. You're not alone in this feeling. And this is what that overwhelm looks like, right? These are the real questions, the ones we barely even admit to ourselves. That little voice that says, am I really the type to run a business? That fear of asking a dumb question and looking silly, and just that huge, intimidating wall of not knowing the language of business plans or financing. It's honestly enough to make anyone just close the laptop and say, forget it. But what if every single one of these questions had an answer, and a system that was designed to answer it for you? Well, that system is exactly what we're going to walk through. This is the roadmap you've been searching for. So here's our game plan. We're going to bring some real structure to all that confusion. First, we'll tackle that where do I start feeling head on. Then we'll get super clear on what this business actually is. After that, we'll talk about the system that does all the heavy lifting. Then we'll get to the heart of it all, the 7-step journey. We'll talk about what owning your future really looks like. And finally, we'll nail down your very first simple, no-pressure step. Okay, so let's start right there with that feeling. It is completely normal to feel overwhelmed when you're looking at something brand new. The path to building your own business, it can feel invisible at first. You can picture the destination, right? The beautiful studio in your home, happy clients, a schedule you actually control, but you can't see the little stepping stones to get there. Our whole goal here is to light up that path so you can see it's not some scary leap in the dark, but just a series of deliberate, supported steps. And a lot of what makes that path invisible are these big myths. These are the things that make people turn around before they even start. You think you need a pricey commercial lease, but the reality? You can start this in a spare room you already have. You might think you need to go back to school for a long, expensive aesthetics degree, when what you really need is a genuine interest in helping people and the right professional training. And that huge, scary number, $50,000 in savings? The reality is you don't need a pile of cash. You need a system to follow that walks you through a proper professional funding process. Seriously, the barrier to entry is so much lower than you've been led to believe. All right, so we've talked about the fear. Now let's get into the facts. What is this business, really? Let's be clear. This isn't some fleeting trend or a complicated side hustle. This is a real professional service that people are actively looking for, and they are happy to invest in because it gives them results that make them feel absolutely amazing. So, what is body contouring? Put simply, it's a professional service that uses safe, proven, non-invasive technologies. We're talking about things like ultrasonic cavitation, which uses sound waves to target fat cells, or radio frequency, which gently heats the skin to boost collagen and create this wonderful tightening effect. The whole point is to help clients reduce stubborn fat, tighten up loose skin, and shape their bodies, all without the risk, the cost, and the painful downtime of surgery. It's a game changer for so many people. And because this is a professional, results-driven service, it's valued as one. A single session typically goes for anywhere from $150 to $300, sometimes even more. Now, that's not just a number on a screen. It tells a story. It tells you that the market sees immense value in this. People aren't just paying for an hour of your time. They are investing in a transformation. They're seeking this out because they see the results and they love the confidence it brings them. This is a real business with real sustainable income potential. Okay, so if it's a real business, it needs a real business structure. And this right here is usually where that overwhelm starts to creep back in. How in the world do I do all of that? Well, here's the key. Here's the thing that unlocks this whole opportunity: a system. You do not have to invent how to build a business from scratch. You don't have to try to piece it all together from random blogs and videos. You absolutely do not have to figure this out alone. Now, you'll hear the word turnkey a lot. So what does that actually mean for you in real life? It means all the hard parts, all the things you don't know how to do yet, have a process and a real person to help you through them. It means the professional, medical-grade equipment is provided for you. You get hands-on support with all the legal paperwork for starting and incorporating your business. You get professional guidance on creating a brand that looks amazing and attracts the right clients. A whole team helps you build out your business plan and financial strategy. And maybe the most important part, you get a personal support system, so you are never, ever left wondering, okay, what do I do next? And that brings us to the absolute heart of what we're talking about today. This is that visible path. We are going to walk through the entire journey from start to finish, broken down into 7 clear, manageable steps. This isn't just some theory. This is the literal sequence of events that takes you from where you are right now, just watching this, to the day you welcome your very first client into your very own studio. And here they are, the conversation, your space, legal foundations, your brand, business plan and financials, funding, and launch. See how simple that looks when it's all laid out? That's the whole point. It's not some tangled mess of confusion. It's a clear, step-by-step process. So now, let's slow down and really walk through each one so you can actually see yourself in this journey. Everything starts right here. Not with some online form, not with a credit card, but with a simple human conversation. You get to talk to someone who has actually done this, someone who built their own studio from the ground up, and this is not a sales pitch. It's a time for you to ask all those questions you've been nervous about. What does it really cost? What's a normal day like? Do you think this is a good fit for me? It's all about getting real, honest answers so you can decide if this path is truly right for you. No pressure. So if that conversation feels good and you're excited, the next step is where things start to feel really tangible. You just share a few photos of the space you're thinking about using. Could be a spare bedroom, a corner of the basement, that office you never use anymore. This is such a cool step because it takes the idea out of your head and puts it right into your home. You'll get to see layouts and ideas of what's possible, how a totally normal room can be transformed into a professional, beautiful studio. Okay, step 3. This is where so many people get stuck. The legal stuff. Registering a business name, incorporating, it all sounds so complicated. But with this system, it's just a guided process. You are not left alone to figure out a mountain of confusing government forms. You have an expert who walks you through every single line, every filing, every question. So this thing that feels so intimidating, it just becomes another item on the checklist that you complete with a pro right by your side. You become a legit business owner the right way from day one. Once the legal foundation is set, we get to do the really fun part, building your brand. This is where you get to choose your studio name, work with the design team on a logo, pick out your colors. This is the moment the business stops being just an idea and starts to feel like it's really, truly yours. You're building your personal brand, and you have professional guidance to make sure it looks and feels premium, trustworthy, and is a perfect reflection of you. All right, step 5 is the business plan. Again, this is another spot that can feel really stressful, but I promise you do not need an MBA or be a whiz with spreadsheets. Instead, you just have a conversation. You answer some simple questions about your goals, your vision for the studio, what you want your life to look like. Then the advisory team takes all your answers, your words, your dreams, and they build them into a professional, bank-ready business plan. They literally translate your vision into the language that financial institutions understand. Now, with that amazing business plan in your hands, you move on to step 6, funding. And I want you to notice the difference here. You're not walking into a bank, nervous, just kind of vaguely asking for money. No, you are walking in with confidence. You're armed with a comprehensive business plan, detailed financial projections, all the right documents. You present yourself as a serious, organized, and totally viable business owner. It completely changes the dynamic of that conversation and gives you and them so much confidence. And finally, we arrive at step 7, launch. This is it. This is the moment it all comes together. The professional equipment arrives at your doorstep. You set up your beautiful new studio space. You turn on your booking system, and then you get that notification. Your first client has booked an appointment. And in that moment, you are officially in business. All those steps, all that planning, all that quiet hope, it all led to this. You did it. So let's talk about what happens the day after your launch and every single day after that, because this is maybe the most important part of this whole thing, and it's what really makes it different. This is all about ownership. This is not a franchise where you're kind of just renting someone else's business. This is 100% completely yours. So after you go through that whole process, from the very first conversation all the way to your launch day, after all the support and all the guidance,
at the end of the day, who is in control of your business, your schedule, your prices, and your future? You are. The system is there to help you build it, but once it's built, you are the sole owner. You hold all the keys. Think of it this way. The support system is a partner in your launch, not a landlord for the rest of your life. And that is a huge, huge difference. And what does 100% ownership actually mean for you? It means you own your professional equipment. It's your asset. You own your business name and your brand. It's your legacy to build. You decide what to charge. You choose your own hours, creating a schedule that actually works for your life and your family. There are no franchise fees you have to pay, ever. There are no monthly royalties being skimmed off the top of your hard-earned money. It means that when your business succeeds, 100% of that success belongs to you, period.
Just take a second and imagine this with me. Picture it's 6 months from today. You walk into your studio, that spare room that's now this beautiful, professional space. Your name is on the door, a client is leaving, and she is just beaming. She feels more confident, she feels incredible because of the service you provided. And as you stand there in the quiet, it hits you. You built this. You took that quiet, late-night idea and you turned it into this real, tangible place that helps people. That's not a daydream. That is what this process is designed to create.
So let's bring it all back to right now, to this moment. After seeing this whole path laid out, I really hope it feels less like a giant, overwhelming mountain and more like a clear trail. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't need all the answers today. You just need to be open to learning about that very first step. And now, you know exactly what that is.
So what can you do next? Well, if this helped, drop a comment below and just tell us, what's the first question on your mind? Go ahead and subscribe too, because we're going to be going way deeper into each of these 7 steps in future explainers. And if you feel like you might be ready for that simple first step we talked about, the conversation, you can visit shapedjt.com and connect with someone. It's not a pitch, it's just a real, honest conversation with someone who's been exactly where you are right now. We're here whenever you're ready.